Welcome everybody to You Heard It Here First with LeDrop WithCheese. Today I have an outstanding guest, and what you're going to hear today is that we are going to be talking to the next big Web3 rapper, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Dardan Bela. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Oh man, thank you for having me. Super excited to be a part of this. You've been nothing but, super positive energy and, just great vibes. So I'm excited to be a part of it.
Awesome. Yes. And we met down in Miami a couple weeks ago, and we met at some satellite event, right, that had free drinks, really fancy drinks. And then you got to promo your song Crypto Famous at Quantum Miami, which was super awesome. I love that song. I've listened to it probably 10 times since I've seen you. So it's all good. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your background and, how you got to where you are now in Web3 being a rapper.
So I kind of got into music by accident. So I kind of got into music when in college, I was really passionate about playing soccer. That was my number one true love. Absolutely loved the sport. My mom and dad played. My father and I would, when I was growing up, we would watch Man United together in the English Premier League. We would watch the World Cups together. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be like Cristiano Ronaldo. I was like, one day I want to be a professional footballer. And then later on, found out I have a thing called Marfan syndrome. And that kind of put a stint to how far I can go and play. So due to basically health conditions, I was not able to continue playing soccer. I had to find something else that I was passionate about. I'll always be passionate about football. Always. I might eventually one day coach just for fun and just out of passion, but I needed something else. So I didn't know what exactly it was going to be. And then I remember in college, I was just trying to figure out like, what is it going to be? And music just kind of came to me. I would write and, for no really, I guess like trying to write a song or anything, it would just be like small little verses. I would just listen to a few YouTube beats at the time. I was very amateur at the time. So I would go to YouTube and just try to find beats that I felt, would resonate with me. I didn't know any producers at the time. And I would just write based off of how I felt. It was kind of just like a creative outlet. And then eventually I started networking with the right individuals. I met a person named Jet Bailey. Shout out to Jet Bailey, by the way. He's the first individual that really got me into music. And, I'm forever grateful and thankful. He was a producer, engineer, and artist, super talented individual. And through him, he ended up introducing me to his brand called Bummy Cult. And I thought the name was really cool. I thought what they did was super dope. And, for them, they didn't care about how many followers you had, how many monthly listeners you had. For them, it was just a community effort of getting to know the artists around the DMV area, which is like Arlington, Washington, D.C., Maryland. And he introduced me to a bunch of really cool producers, engineers, artists. And then that kind of ended up trickling into a little domino effect where I started making music instead of doing it only like once or twice a week, doing it 3-4 times a week, until eventually I started buying some of my own things. I didn't start off with an Apollo at the time. I was a broke college kid, so I had to start off with a little starter pack. I had my Scarlett, I had my TLM. I didn't have necessarily the finest recording equipment at the time. I just had to do with what I had, and I was grateful for it. It taught me just how to record, how to get my vocals. And I was also had a great roommate too. His name was Jake Hitskis. Now this is wild. So I took a gap year in college, and this is when I ended up moving to Los Angeles for about a year and a half to 2 years. But when I came back to college because my father was really sick. He had, due to his Marfan syndrome, he ended up not doing too hot. He had a massive stroke in 2016. Later on, he ended up having a secondary stroke, which is why I came back to Virginia and why I went back to college at that time as well too, instead of just doing it remote. I went back for my dad's health. But when I went back, what are the odds that the person that I run into in my college, by the way, my college was like in the middle of the country. You're not going to find recording studios there. You will find cows and mountains before you find recording studios. I promise that. So what are the odds that I run into this individual that is saying, hey, I own a recording studio here. We're called Rec Records. We're looking for investors. I was sold. I was like, okay, how much for, how much percent of the company will I own if I put in X amount? I ended up putting down, not a crazy amount. I think it was like 2,500. I own 25% of the company, and we ended up running this recording studio together. And then I learned how to really record on better equipment at that time. My buddy Jake had the craziest recording studio setup, like insane. So it kind of all trickled from not being able to play soccer, finding out I have this health condition, and then aligning myself with people that are where I want to be. And then also aligning myself with individuals that I'd say they have a very Web3 approach, and they might not have realized it at the time. But, in the Web3 space, if you notice, a lot of people don't care about if you're a celebrity. They don't care about how many streams you have, how many followers you have. It's really about, do they like the individual? Do they like the art? Do they like the music? And that's exactly how Jet Bailey was. And he was a community builder. A lot of people in the DMV have a lot of respect for this guy because he does a lot to give back. And I think like that's where I ended up really gravitating towards the Web3 kind of world. Was I've always been accepting of it. I just never truly realized it was Web3 until later on, when I became more knowledgeable of what Web3 is. And, I'd say like that's kind of like a lighter story of how I kind of got into music and how I started to approach into Web3. And I also got into Web3 through Drake, not Drake, sorry, Jake, who was my roommate. He was studying computer science, and he would always tell me some of the craziest, coolest things that they were studying, and I just thought people that code, they just fascinated me. I was like, these guys are cool. Like, these guys are dope as fuck. Like, I wish I knew how to create like random apps and all these other things just by, fucking buttons and numbers and all this other shit. You compile them together somehow, and boom, you have this amazing, cool technology. And him and my other buddy Shot were the individuals that told me about what NFTs are. They're like, Dardan, have you ever considered about putting your music out on the blockchain? I was like, what's the blockchain? I didn't even know what it was then. I didn't know really what none of it was. Like, I knew what Ethereum was, I knew what Solana was, I knew what the basic buzzwords were, but I mean, it was hard not to know them. They were like all over the news at that time. And that's when I started really going down this rabbit hole where I was like, I want to know what Web3 is. I really need to get a deeper dive. And that's when I started going onto Twitter Spaces. I think I was on Twitter Spaces for a solid 2-3 months before I decided I wanted to be an NFT record label and go about doing things the way I want to do them, from no longer being a writer to going on and deciding to try my own path. So I did that for 2-3 months, and I was just a listener at first. And this was at a time when almost any and all, it didn't matter what NFT you drop, bro. Like, everything people were just aping into at that time. Like, NFTs were a hot topic at this time. This is when I think like at NFT on Instagram started coming out. They started having all these influencers on there, and it was insane. Bored Ape Yacht Club was going crazy. Everybody was going crazy. And that's during the same time I was just starting to jump in and just learn what it means to build a community, learn who are some of the key players in the NFT music space, learn which chain I'd like to first start off with. And that's kind of like the beginning story of how I kind of got in. And then when I got into the NFT space, I finally decided how I wanted to proceed forward. And, I try to have a roadmap at first of like, okay, this is what I want to do. And then I realized, wait, hold up, the NFT space moves way too fast for me to have this exact roadmap. Like, I'm going to have to just be very, I guess like the word I'm looking for is malleable. I'm going to have to be malleable with my business. Like, I got to be able to move according to the market. I got to be able to move according to how things are transitioning. And I'm pretty sure that you've observed it yourself too at this point. Like, it's so unpredictable. It's just insane. Like, things are moving so quick. People are trying so many new things. And I think it's because we're in this untapped water of territory that people are wanting to try everything just to see what works. Like, some things are hits, some things are misses. Um, and that's what I did with 1331 Records. I came in, I knew that I wanted to do three different things: disrupt the music industry, set a new standard for record label deals, and bridge the gap between Web 2 artists emerging into Web 3. So basically what that means is I want to get more Web 2 artists into Web 3. I noticed that a lot of the marketing tools were more centered towards just the Web 3 audience. But in order for us to really go into mass adoption, we have to be able to take from markets that don't know about Web 3. So find the Web 2 artists that aren't aware of what's happening, and not like forcing it down them, but just letting them know, like, hey, this is a cool technology, check it out. And for the ones that are receptive, give them a little more information. For the ones that aren't, just let them come back around whenever they're ready.
Right. Yeah, that's great, man. And I welcome to Web3. You know, I've been in the space for like about 2.5 years, and really it is the community that is amazing. And we're all kind and generous and look out for each other and genuinely try and help each other build something meaningful with blockchain technology and this new internet Web3. So I know you said the name Shot. Is that Shot from Minority Programmers and Bluntdow?
Yeah, yes. You know,
Yeah,
Shot.
I've
That's
known
hilarious.
a couple of years now. So
Dude,
yes.
Shot's a genius, bro. That guy is a genius and a hard worker. That's
Yeah.
that's that's two things I'll say for Shot. That man just works hella hard. You know, like everything he's done, as far as it comes with like near protocol, Blunt Dow, which started off as a meme, and now they're actually a thing. Like,
Yes. I'm
that's
an
that's
old
the power of memes, man. And even like, I mean, that kind of goes in with the cheese too. I think you were telling me a story about how it started off as a meme and then it just like picked up into this like really real thing. Like, that's always amazed me how fast, like, or just how powerful memes are, or even Dogecoin. Like that whole thing, I think I'm pretty positive started all off as a meme.
yes, it was a meme coin, and then Elon tweeted about it and it aped. So in the beginning of your song Crypto Famous, you talk about making a bunch of money with Dogecoin. Did you actually take a big win on that?
Oh my God. So this is really funny. My mom doesn't really know how Dogecoin works or cryptocurrency. And I think it was 2020, or maybe, yeah, it was 2020, before 2021, when Dogecoin was still, I think like this is like when the AMC GameStop era was. What was that, like 2020, or was that
Uh,
2021?
January of 2021.
Okay, so it was around there. I just know it was around like the GameStop AMC era. I lost a lot of money on AMC, by the way. But yeah, that did not work well. Was not able to sell. But regardless, I just remember one of my buddies, he was aping in hard in the Doge. Like, I think he bought in at around 2 pennies, maybe a penny, or like 0.19. And this is when Doge hit like 14 cents and people were going crazy. They were like, oh my God, is it going to keep going? And it certainly did. But I aped in. I aped in. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know how to explain it to my mom. But at that time, I wasn't using like I guess you would say like MetaMask, or I was on Robinhood at that time. Full transparency, I was on Robinhood, and I probably spent about 20K on Doge. I spent 20K on Doge and just now I'm still sitting on it. So we're gonna see where it goes. We're gonna
Ah,
see where it goes. Um,
it's going up. They actually just reduced their energy usage by 25%. They decreased it last year. So they're turning into a real blockchain. So yes, definitely hold on to it. But I was one of the lucky ones where I bought in at 2 cents in January. And then right before Elon Musk goes on Saturday Night Live, it goes up to 73 cents. And I'm like, okay, I'm out.
oh
So
my God, you lucky
I
bastard.
cashed a nice little game there for sure. And
Oh
that's,
my God.
buying and selling cryptocurrencies after that. And I'm like, this is great. And here we are now in a bear market, and I don't even pay attention to it really that much. But
That's what's funny is my brother put maybe about $20 in Doge maybe like 6 years ago. I don't know what he bought it at, but I think he cashed out at like close to 1,000 or something. So like 20 turned to 1,000. I was like, that's insane. Even though
Yeah.
like it took a while, like when's the last time you invested $20 and then a couple years pass and you're like, all right, now it's 1,000. That's
Now,
insane. And that's when I was really looking into crypto heavy at that time. Like after that little bull run I saw with Doge, I was like, okay, I'm sold. I need to understand this more. Okay, I can't just buy this because it's a meme and Elon, is pumping it. Like I want to understand how this thing actually works now. And that's what kind of hooked me, because I'm looking at this and I'm looking at this as this is potential. I guess you would say like because like for me wise, like I grew up living paycheck to paycheck. I look at it as like, if I learn this enough and I'm looking at how it worked with Doge, if I find enough, I guess you would say coins such as that, who's to say you can't make 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, whatever. Um, so that's what kind of hooked me. I was like, this is insane. This is like, it could change your life like overnight, just kind of like what you were talking about with when it went from, I think it was what, like 20 cents upwards to 70 cents. If you dropped like $10,000 at that time, that 10K definitely made you a pretty substantial return.
yeah.
Or if you have more funds and you were somebody that had a bigger bag, and you dropped like 50 racks or 100 racks, oh my god, you just made $1 million. It's
Right.
insane. It's
Yeah.
insane. And like I don't really see many things where you can make a insane ROI like that outside of crypto. But that also is with a grain of salt, because you also can lose 90% too, so during bear markets. So it kind of goes back and forth.
Right, for sure. And speaking of racks, tell us about some of the more recent songs that you just released, and where we can listen to them.
Yeah, so I'll tell you about my song Stuck on You. I released Stuck on You last year, and I didn't promote it. I didn't put the music video out. And full transparency of why I didn't was, every time I watched the music video, it reminded me of this girl, basically. And it was my ex. And I had an ex-fiance before. She was an amazing girl, absolutely fucking beautiful, great, perfect to the core, amazing. And every time I would watch that video, it would always remind me of her. So I was just like, I'm gonna release this when it doesn't make me feel like that. I'm not gonna lie, man. Like I love that girl. She was amazing. She's dope. But that's why I made the song, was for if you've ever went through a heartbreak and you were stuck on a certain individual, and the song is called Stuck on You. So I decided it's only appropriate to release the music video on February 14th, Valentine's Day. So I'm going to release it the 14th, the music video for Stuck on You. I'm going to finally actually promote it. And, I already have a few different places where I'm going to want to put this out. But it's called Stuck on You, and it's basically about, I guess you would say, heartbreak. If it's like any and everything reminds you of that person. But then throughout the song, it kind of takes you through this journey of saying, like, even though all that happened, like, I hope everything's okay. So that's kind of like the moral of Stuck on You. And in the music video, you kind of see me in this, like, a lot of people think like when they watch the video, it reminds them of Holes. Cause like you see me in this like orange jumpsuit with like this water keg. And it shows me shoveling, and it's like I'm shoveling my past and I'm trying to bury it, but I can't. So each time I'm trying to bury it, it's just like I keep like getting dehydrated. I can't. And then at the end, it shows me like in this grave. So it's like I'm trying to like cover the past, but ultimately at the end, it's just a dying effort. Like you're just stuck. It's like it's this daydream that keeps looping round and round. Um, and that's what the music video kind of like concept was. But I actually was dehydrated, bro. I was in the desert. It was like 112 degrees. I'm in a fucking jumpsuit. Oh my God, bro. It was terrible. Sweating. Every 5 minutes, I had to take a break. We had these mini fans. They fucking broke midway, halfway, like through the video. So then the fan didn't work. So now my videographer is like you ever watch SpongeBob in that the movie, and like at the end when they're under the sun lamp and like they sound all dehydrated out of water. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
us, bro. That was us out there in this fucking desert of it was I don't even know if it was a desert, honestly. It was like 2 hours outside of LA, wherever that is. It was like this like lost city or something. But yeah, either way, it was terrible, bro. It's fucking god awful. Oh man, so this actually brings me back to a memory. So during the music video, the girl that's in the video, she's like stepping on the sand, and my videographer goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, please tell her don't go out towards this certain portion of sand. I think I read somewhere that they still have active landmines." And I'm like, yo, you should have fucking told me that. Like first thing, you know? So now I'm yelling at this girl. I'm like, yo, turn back around. Turn back around. Landmines, active. Turn back. And she goes, what? Huh? She thinks it's part of like a skit, bro. I'm like, no, serious. And then I get on the phone. I'm FaceTiming her. I'm like, no, dead ass. Turn around. Apparently, he saw a sign about active landmines. I would literally feel absolutely terrible if you stepped on one. So just turn back around now. Let's go back. It was wild, bro.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good story. I mean, dehydration in the desert, fear of landmines and snakes. And
That was like a
I,
fucking movie, bro.
yes, I can't wait to see the video on Valentine's Day. And I commend you on your courage. I appreciate you sharing that story with us as well, because, you know, losing a significant other in your life, a relationship is almost as bad as losing a person at times. And I think by you releasing this video at the right time for you, it's going to be the right time for everyone else to be inspired by, facing your fears. And, just nothing could stop us in Web3, and that's kind of why I wanted to talk to you today, man. So Crypto Famous, again, I've listened to it a whole bunch of times. Where did you get the inspiration for that song?
Oh my God. So this was funny. I originally made the song for the Dogecoin Millionaire. So I didn't even have anything that said Crypto Famous on it at first. I was on a Twitter space, the Dogecoin Millionaire. I said, yo, do you have a theme song? He went, nah. I was like, so if I made you a fire ass theme song, would you use it for your YouTube channel as the intro? And he goes, yeah, I would. I don't see why not. So I was just like, okay. And then he says, but only if my community says yes. Like if they like it, I'm rocking with it. I was like, all right, bet. I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna have it done by next week, Wednesday, next week spaces. How's that sound? I was like, put your money where your mouth is. I'm gonna have it ready by next week. And he was like, all right, bet. I show up next week to his spaces, didn't show up. So I cut him off the song. I remembered this company called Crypto Famous. They wanted to have a theme song. I was like, everywhere I said Dogecoin Millionaire, I'm gonna put Crypto Famous. Put Crypto Famous instead. And then I went back, I rewrote some of the bars, and I was like, did I accidentally just write a fucking lit song about like, wow, this is fire. Um, Send it over to them. They loved it. They were like, this is amazing. Yes, we want it. Let's do a music video. I was like, okay, well, Art Basel's right around the corner. They said, no, that's fine. We'll just record during Art Basel. I was like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, you need merchandise? I was like, I didn't really think I do, but yeah, sure, I'll take merchandise. And then they gave me a shit ton of merchandise just to pass out. Like $10,000 worth of merchandise. It was insane. Like they were like, here's these like boxes and boxes of merchandise, just white t-shirts, black sports bras for girls, these like black, I don't even know what they're called. I guess like they remind me of Lululemon, like whatever those things are called. I guess like
Like,
women's leggings for working out, like Gymshark type stuff, hats, just a bunch of stuff, man. And like it was insane. We just passed it out like all over. During the music video, we passed it out to everybody. I probably got like 10 t-shirts now. Like they're all just workout shirts. But it was insane. And you know, the people behind it, Crypto Famous, they're just such nice people, man. They're such nice people. You know, shout out to Joe, Bob, and Bill. They're absolutely amazing. Like these guys, you know, I look at them as mentors just because I've learned so much from them. And, you know, like they constantly, anytime any people within their network need something music oriented, I'm the first guy they call. And, you know, like for me, like I never expect anything, you know, like after I've done a job for somebody, I'm like, okay, bet, here you go. I appreciate you. Thank you. You know, just make sure good business. They continuously always try to provide opportunities, and I'm forever grateful for it, you know. And it's very seldom that you meet a company that cares not just about the product, but about the artist and the relationship, and they take care of everything. So I was very grateful for them and very grateful for the opportunity. And you know, I know we're talking about potentially doing a follow-up song. You know, fingers crossed. I don't know when it's going to happen, or if it does happen, it's just speculative currently right now. But if it does happen, there is a potential for a part two. Not entirely sure yet. We're trying to figure it out. They're going through their launch phase right now, and they recently changed their name to All Famous. So I know that they're, you know, getting some stuff ready for launch. So whenever that stuff gets situated, I know we're talking about a potential part two. But yeah, you know, that's kind of how Crypto Famous came about. It started off on a Twitter space for Dogecoin Millionaire. Still shout out to him. I bet he was just busy, you know, like I mean, the dude's fucking probably has hella media on him at all times. Like I don't doubt it at all. Especially when it comes to, you know, like how many influencers are there in Dogecoin? I think there's like only top 3 right now, like maybe Elon, him, and I forgot what the other guy's name is, but so he probably was just busy and forgot. But yo, if you're watching this, bro, if you still need that Dogecoin song, I got you, dog. Just follow through this time.
Yeah, Dogecoin Millionaire, you're watching, hit up Dardan Bela for your song. Made it, came through for you.
It's
And
all good.
you're also open to collaborations and
Oh yeah.
onboarding artists through 1331 Records.
Oh yeah. Man, I'm always down to work with any and everybody. I don't care if you just started. I don't care if you got 1 follower, no followers, no listeners. My biggest thing is music, just like your body, you know, it's kind of like it's like, let me put it this way. The same way you can work out and your muscles become stronger, same thing with your talents. The more you do it, the better you get. I don't think anybody's bad at something. I think that it's a lack of either repetitions of constantly doing it or having somebody help them along the way. So I personally love when an artist comes in and they're new and they need that extra milestone help, because I know what it's like to be that artist. I was that artist once. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, I used to be really bad, god awful. I remember looking at my first couple music videos, my first couple songs, and being like, oh my god, this is cringe. This is very cringe. But I keep them there to remind myself of where I started, to how hard I've worked, to where I'm at now. So you know, if I've been able to do that, I know that anybody else can too. I'm no different than the next person that's to the left of me or to the right of me. You know, you cut me, you cut the person to the side of me, we both bleed. We both, you know, we're both the same. We can do it. So yeah, I'm always open to collaborations. I don't care about how many followers you have, how many listeners you have, any of that. Clout doesn't matter. Just positive vibes, you know, and just being able to catch a vibe and create something. And even if even if we don't necessarily like the song and it doesn't get released, as long as we finish the song and continue to work, and maybe the next song is the one that we release or whatever, then that's all that matters. So yeah, I'm very open to collaboration, and you know, rather how new or experienced you are, I'm I'm open to it.
Awesome, man. That's great. And that's what Web3 is all about, is innovation and collaboration. Like you said earlier, the space does move so fast. So I like when people say, we're innovating while we're innovating in this space because no one can keep up. So it's been great talking to you, Dardan, man. I'm so excited for your future. It's so bright. You're such a great guy, man. That's why I had to have you on the show and let people know you're going to be the next big Web3 rapper. And how do we follow you? How do we support you?
So I've never really made a personal Instagram, to be honest. Like I have a personal Twitter, but I barely ever use it. The main reason is I prefer everything just funneling through my business account. So 1331 Records, 1331 Records with a Z. So they could follow me on 1331 Records with a Z, or if they want to check out my music on Spotify, that's where they can search up my actual name, Dardan Bela, Dardan, last name Bela, Bela, and they'll be able to find some of my stuff there. But you're gonna find a whole lot more this year. I come from a writing background. This year, I decided to finally release some of the music that I have in the vault. And if you're like me and like a bunch of other producers and artists that I know, man, it's time to release your tracks. Like stop hiding them for yourself. Just release them to the world, see how people react. And I want to be able to lead by example. Every single month on the 14th, I'm going to be releasing a new single. I used to be such a perfectionist and think I'm not going to release unless this is perfect, that's perfect, this is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect time. There's no such thing. You never know which song is going to hit. The song you dislike the most might be the song that the crowd loves the most. So yeah, so you guys are going to see a whole lot more music from me, a lot more snippets. I'm very bad at TikTok. I'm going to look really cringe, but also on TikTok, you're going to see me on there a lot more. And ideally, I'm going to try to get on Twitter Spaces at least once or twice throughout the week and, try to see if I can expand into going into more days from there.
Awesome. Yes, that's great, man. I'm so excited to hear you have a new song coming out every month on the 14th. I can't wait. I'll definitely share all of your new stuff. And thank you again, man. It's a bright future, and thanks for your time, bro.
No, man. Thanks again for having me. And, I appreciate your time. Thanks, LeDrop.